Welcome, saber enthusiasts. I am Nick Nitro, and I am the Lord of the Crucible. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. First of all, I want to cover a topic that came up in a previous video and give you an update as to what's happening with that. Secondly, well, I've got some sabers laid out here for a very good reason, and we're going to dive into this. First thing I want to cover is the issue that I had with the battery from the testing phase of the Vire Sabers mystery box that I chose. I went ahead and got a hold of Vire Sabers, and okay, pretty much what I expected. Well, you're doing product testing. This is kind of like above what we consider normal use. Now, however, and I don't think my contact with them had anything to do with what I found recently, but as of this filming, I went on their website and I was not able to find a single RGBX V3 core available anywhere except in their specialty cores section for their saber parts. And even those were completely sold out. So from what I can tell, they're no longer available. This should not be an issue. We will see. I'm going to get some more Vire Sabers and we're going to test those as well and see if we run into the same issue, but I don't think we will. So with that said, let's run into an issue that I ran into when I tried to upgrade this Crimson Dawn Banshee. Now, there are some differences in the hilts, and it's not just whether it is a round recharge port or a USB-C recharge port. So let's go ahead and get some close-up shots of these, because this actually turned out to be a bit more of a rabbit hole than I thought. Not a huge one, but still. What we have here is a 2.1 millimeter recharge port that you'll see on some of your older Crimson Dawn sabers. Now, the cores for these rely on a couple of things in the hilt body, and I didn't think to take that into account. This is all disassembled, and this is fairly easy to put in. You know, you slide this in. So you see the two screw holes that we have here. These allow the screws to pull the button up into place. And then we have a third screw that just locks the whole chassis into position right here. So fairly simple. And I wanted to upgrade this saber to a USB-C core, because I had found that there is some companies that have adapters for the 2.1 millimeter holes that would cover up any excess space, like this one right here from Vire Sabers. But when I got my USB-C core from Crimson Dawn, I ran into an issue. So let's go ahead and show you what I ran into. You just slide everything right into place. It fits fine. But when you put the screws in, something is a little off here. You can't screw them in. They fall right out, right here. So the threads that are needed to pull the button up into place aren't in this core here. So how do you do that? Well, it has an extra hole back here. Right here. Actually, the chassis have the hole. That's curious. But it's not large enough for the screw that needs to push everything into place. And the big thing, whether the core has the hole or not, the saber body does not. It's completely blank there. I ended up putting this core into this saber body. Now, as we slide this forward, everything lines up really well, but there are no screw holes here. So you flip it over, there is two holes back here. This one right here is where you take this screw, and that will actually push your buttons back up into place. Right there. So that's all in place right there. And the only other screw you need on this saber body is right here, and this will hold the chassis in place. And then that's it. So, when you're ordering a new core for your Nexus Saber, pay attention to your saber body and make certain you get the right core. And if that was all it was, I'd be really, really happy. It's a fairly simple thing to look for. And then we have this one, which is kind of odd. I want to call it a hybrid saber body. It doesn't have the screw holes here, but it has a 2.1 millimeter hole here for a recharge port there, and they need an adapter for the USB-C connector. But it does have a screw back here that raises the button cluster into place. So take a close look at your saber body and make certain that you are ordering the correct core for your hilt. I hope that helped provide everybody with some very useful information when selecting your saber core to replace the core in your LGT Saber. There really is one other thing that you need to pay attention to, and I didn't look at it beforehand, but after I installed the core into this lightsaber, which works fantastic by the way, I couldn't put the pommel on the saber. It didn't fit. Fortunately, numerous LGT resellers, or Nexus, I should say Nexus, it is Nexus. Numerous Nexus Sabers resellers like Vire Sabers and Crimson Dawn and Dark Wolf sell a variety of parts, and chief among those parts are extensions. Like this little 1-inch extension that I've got right here. Simple little black extension. I happen to have one on hand, so that worked out really well. Everything now fits perfectly fine. As you can see here, there's plenty of room, so I don't have to worry about my speaker being exposed, pressed up against the pommel, or anything else. Now these extensions do come pre-drilled and tapped with sometimes 2, sometimes 4 holes, so that you can actually order them with a CoverTech wheel. I already have one installed here, so I don't need to worry about that. But I am going to be getting a different band in a different color because I just don't think the black goes with this too well. I'm probably going to be looking at an azure or an amethyst band, which would give it a nice little pop of color right there. And, well, it's just kind of the look I want to go for. But, with that last bit of information out of the way, I hope this video has been useful. Let me know down in the comments if it's been any help whatsoever. A lot of times it's those small details that make a world of difference. So with that said, I am Nick Nitro. This is Rocky. You've been hearing Rosie and BG over in the background. And we will see you in the Crucible.